Jada, you're a bald-head liar and you're a addict, right? You told the world that you were going to sue me. As of yet, and you said you're going to do it swiftly. It's been over 2 weeks. So Jada, I'm giving you 2 more weeks to sue me. If you don't sue me, this is what's going to happen. All parties, right? And the people, the men that you hit with dildos, I'm naming names, right? All the salacious stuff that you have done and hurt other people, I'm naming names. You assassinate my character. You say I extort you. Well, extortion is...
Tupac got caught on TMZ in 2009 after he burnt his fingerprints off and everybody seen him, right? The LAPD went out and covered that. Look it up on TMZ. Look it up. Go look it up yourself. Go look it up yourself. You think I'm scared of you? Let's go.
The second time I seen him was at his home in Las Vegas, Nevada. Everybody thinks he faked his death. He's not dead. There was many things that happened and he got set up for a little bit to still be able to live his life and still be in the public eye. He's still making music.
Sorry. He was, I mean, it was beyond friendship for us, you know, as far as just, it's really difficult to explain because...
What if the biggest secret connected to Tupac didn't disappear in 1996? What if it's been sitting right in front of everyone this whole time, just waiting for the right person to force people to look at it differently? Before we get into this, go ahead and like and subscribe because this isn't one of those stories you can just listen to halfway. You actually have to follow the details, because the deeper you go, the more it starts to feel like something isn't lining up the way we've always been told.
Ron Jeremy, Denzel Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres, Whoopi Goldberg, Lady Gaga, Chrissy Teigen, John Legend, Joan Rivers, Rob Saget. Do you want me to keep going? Ask me. Everybody wonder why my smile is so deep.
I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder. There was murder in there.
Okay. What did you do?
So Allie Carter is back in the conversation again, but this time it feels different. Not louder, just heavier. Because before, people could dismiss her easily. It was simple: label her, ignore her, move on. But now, the same clips people used to laugh at are being replayed with a completely different tone. People are slowing down, listening more carefully, and noticing things they didn't catch before. And the shift didn't happen randomly, it happened when she tied her story directly to Tupac. That one claim didn't just add shock value, it changed the entire risk level of what she's saying. Because now, if there's even a fraction of truth to it, then this isn't just about her anymore. This involves one of the most protected figures in music history.
You get pressured, stalked, and hunted down for your own information. You get abused and re-victimized again by people who wanted to argue a back and forth this week like that fucking mattered. Okay, you had Stu Peters and Timothy Charles Homestead going back and forth, and nobody has even bothered. Not that I give a damn, and not that I understand that you guys are gonna be that selfish, but nobody has bothered to apologize for all the hell that has happened. But you guys were arguing back and forth, and in that meantime, we lost our home. You don't believe me? Here you go. What once was a full house, we were still paying rent on our house. What we were doing this whole time was moving everything because our house is gone. Our house is gone. This is the price. This is the price of speaking out. What was our beautiful 3-bedroom acre home on 21225 Standing Rock Avenue, because everybody has the address, because organizations that were attached to Marx, Sawyer, and many other organizations decided to put out the address, my license plate to one of my cars, and many other of my So here you go. You can have it, right? because this is what happens when you speak out. This is what happens when you tell all the truth. This is what happens when you decided to stand up for the children, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to do a seminar, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to just be and then show up somewhere and talk and monetize every fucking thing that they're saying. When you realize that that shit is bull, then you will understand. Look at the tactics and pay attention. Pay attention. I'm still not asking you for a damn thing but to wake up. I'm not asking you for a damn thing but just to get outside. I don't give a damn about money, numbers on my platforms. You can fucking have all of it. You took everything. The only thing that I give a shit about right now is the fact that there is a baby. There's baby in the way. There are people that I love that I can't get out of the way. What am I supposed to do when the people in the authority that you're supposed to go to, you can't go to them?
And that's where everything starts to tighten, because the moment Tupac's name gets pulled into something like this, the conversation stops being casual and starts becoming controlled. And that's why people are paying attention to who's speaking and who isn't. And the silence that's standing out the most right now is Jada Pinkett Smith, because out of everyone connected to Tupac, she's the one who has always kept his story alive the most publicly. She's spoken about him with emotion, with depth, with a level of attachment that never really faded even decades later. And that's what makes this situation feel strange. Because if anyone would react strongly to something involving Tupac's legacy, you'd expect it to be her. But instead, there's nothing direct. No clear pushback, no strong denial, no attempt to shut the conversation down completely. And that's where people start reading between the lines. Because silence, especially from someone that vocal about him in the past,
Mac is not going to be able to be there because him and Charlie had something else going on. Our rob in Chicago for Empire, it's a damn mess. It's no other way to put it. This dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right?
The same thing he's doing now.
Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on. I pulled him to the side. I said, listen, I'm here to help you and so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. Everybody seem like they love you. I want to love you because everybody else love you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, you know. He said, you know Will raped me. You know Diddy made me suck his penis. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo.
There are 3-4-year-olds that people take pride in sticking bars of children. I don't think people are going to be able to stomach the fact that people tie 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old children to horse stables and have horses and dogs with them, and then they get off on that. I don't think people are going to be able to stomach the fact that people hang children upside down in satanic ritual abuse meetings, and they literally hang them. Literally, by metal prongs, they hang them to get dripping out of them, and people go up under and like you're under a rainfall to take their blood.
Doesn't feel neutral anymore. It feels intentional, and that's what's creating tension around her name. Because now, people aren't just asking if Ally is telling the truth, they're asking who knew something and decided it was better left alone. And then you bring in brother Bilal, and the situation takes another turn completely, because he's not operating with subtlety at all. He's pushing straight through, calling Jada out directly, accusing her of hiding things, and framing this as something much bigger than just one person's claims. And what makes his involvement interesting isn't just what he's saying, it's how he's saying it. There's no hesitation, no careful wording, no attempt to soften anything. And that kind of approach either makes someone look completely unreliable or completely fearless. And the truth is, people are split on which one he is. But regardless of where you stand, his presence is adding pressure. Because now it's not just Ally speaking, it's multiple voices pushing in the same direction, and that makes it harder to ignore. And when things reportedly escalated into legal territory, with claims of threats and lawsuits, that's when the energy shifted again. Because once legal language enters the conversation, it changes how people process everything. It stops feeling like online chaos and starts feeling like there are real stakes involved behind the scenes. And that's when people start asking a different type of question, not just, is this true, but why is this getting this serious? Because false stories usually fade, but stories that create tension like this tend to stick around longer. And then there's Ally herself, and this is where the story gets uncomfortable in a different way. Because she's not just presenting a claim, she's presenting a narrative built around lived experience.
Looking, definitely from looking at him, wasn't necessarily like the type of cat that I would even like deal with, you know. But as soon as he approached me, he was like a magnet. It was like once you paid attention to him, he kind of sucked you in. And we hit it off from that moment on. He would tell me all the time, Jada, you're gonna be a star. You know what I mean? I'm like, Pa, come on. He's like, you're gonna be a star. You got it. You just got it. I don't think either one of us really thought that we would have made it in the way that we did. But we knew we were gonna do something. He was one of my best friends. He was like a brother.
She's not talking like someone guessing she's talking, like someone trying to explain something she's been carrying for a long time. And that doesn't automatically make it true, but it changes how it feels to listen to. Because now, people aren't just reacting to the content, they're reacting to the delivery, the emotion, the detail, the intensity. And when you combine that with the Tupac claim, it creates a situation where even skeptics start paying closer attention. Not because they believe it, but because they can't fully dismiss it anymore. And that's the zone where stories become dangerous. Not proven, not disproven, just sitting in that space where doubt starts to grow. And then you zoom out and look at the bigger pattern, and this is where the twist really starts to form. Because Hollywood has a history of stories that sounded unbelievable at first, until years later when pieces started coming out that made people rethink everything. And that pattern is sitting in the back of people's minds, whether they admit it or not. So now, even the people who don't believe Ally are still watching. They're still listening, because they don't want to be on the wrong side of something if it turns out to be real later. And that's what's fueling this entire situation. It's not confirmation, it's possibility. And possibility is enough to keep something alive longer than facts sometimes. And then you come back to Tupac's legacy, and this is where things get even more complicated. Because Tupac isn't just remembered, he's curated. His story has been shaped, protected, and preserved in a very specific way over the years. So anything that threatens to disrupt that image is going to face resistance, whether intentional or not. And that's why Ally's claim hits differently than anything else she's said. Because this isn't just adding a new detail, it's rewriting part of the story entirely, and that kind of shift doesn't happen easily, especially when there are people who have spent decades maintaining a certain version of events. And this is where Jada's position becomes even more interesting, because if she truly doesn't know anything, then her silence makes sense. Why respond to something that doesn't involve you? But if there's even a small chance that she does know something, then her silence takes on a completely different meaning. It becomes strategic, and that's the tension people are stuck on right now, because there's no clear answer either way, just interpretation. And interpretation is what keeps stories like this alive the longest. And then there's another layer that people aren't really talking about yet, the idea that even if Ally is wrong about certain details, that doesn't automatically mean everything she's saying is false. And that's where things get even more complicated, because now it's not just a yes or no situation, it's a spectrum. And once a story enters that space, it becomes almost impossible to fully shut down, because people start separating parts of it, analyzing pieces instead of the whole. And that keeps the conversation going in multiple directions at once. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Different people are focusing on different aspects, pulling different conclusions, and building their own versions of what might be happening. And as long as that continues, this story isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's building momentum. Because the longer it goes without a clear resolution, the more people feel like there's something being avoided. And that feeling alone is enough to keep attention locked in. And we're not at the peak yet. That's the part a lot of people are missing. This still feels like the middle, not the end. Because if someone eventually responds directly, or if any kind of evidence gets introduced on either side, this could shift instantly. It could collapse, or it could explode. And right now, it's balanced right in between those two outcomes. So now it comes down to how you see it. Do you think Ally Carter is telling a deeper truth that people aren't ready to face yet? Or do you think this is a situation that's being blown up because of how sensitive the names involved are? And more importantly, do you think Jada's silence is just silence? Or is it something else entirely? Because one thing is clear, this story isn't fading, it's evolving. And the more it evolves, the harder it's going to be for anyone connected to it to stay out of it forever.